एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। आज की वीडियो में हम नोज एंड पैरानेजल साइनस को डिस्कस करेंगे। सेंस ऑफ ऑल परसीव्ड इन द अपर पार्ट ऑफ द नेजल कैविटी बाय olfactory nerve rootless and in the olfactory bulb which is connected to the uncus and also to the dorsal nucleus of the vagus in the medulla oblongata. Good smell of the food thus stimulate the secretion of the gastric juice through the vagus nerve. Most of the mucous membrane of the nasal cavity is respiratory and is continuous with the various paranasal sinus. Since nose is the most projecting part of the face, its integrity must be maintained. Environmental pollution causes inhalation of the unwanted gases and particles, leading to the frequent attacks of the sinusitis, respiratory diseases, and including asthma. Nasal mucous membrane is quite vascular. Sometimes picking of the nose may cause bleeding from the little area. Bleeding from the nose is called epistaxis. The superior and then now we will start about nose. The nose perform two function. It is respiratory passage. It also the organ of the smell. First of all, respiration में help करेगा. Then organ of smell है. Receptor for the smell are placed in the upper 1/3 of the nasal cavity. This part is lined by olfactory mucosa. The rest of the nasal cavity is lined by respiratory mucosa. The respiratory mucosa is highly vascular and warms the inspired air. The secretion of the numerous serous gland make the air moist, while the secretions of the mucous gland trap dust or other particles. Thus the nose acts as an air conditioner where the inspired air is warmed, moistened and cleaned before it is passed on the delicate lungs. The olfactory mucosa lines the upper 1/3 of the nasal cavity, including the roof formed by seriform plate and the medial and the lateral wall up to level of superior concha. It is the thin and the less vascular than respiratory mucosa. It contains the receptor called olfactory cells. For the description purpose, the nose is divided into two main parts, external and the external nose and the nasal cavity. Some features of it is will be discussed. The external nose has a skeletal framework that is partially bony and partially cartilaginous. The bones are the nasal bones which form the bridge of the nose and frontal process of the maxilla. The cartilage are the superior and inferior nasal cartilage, the septal cartilage and small alar cartilage. The skin over the external nose is supplied by the small external nasal infratrochlear and infraorbital nerves. The nasal cavity extends from the external nares or nostrils to the posterior nasal apparatus and is subdivided into right and the left half by the nasal septum. Each half has a roof, a floor and medial lateral walls. Each half measures about 5 cm in height, 5 to 7 cm in the length and 1.5 cm in the width near the floor. The width near the roof is only 1 to 2 mm. The roof is about 7 cm long and 2 mm wide. It slopes downward both in the front and the behind. The middle horizontal part is formed by the cerebriform plate of the ethmoid. The anterior slope is formed by the nasal part of the frontal bone and the nasal bone and the nasal cartilage. Posterior slope is formed by the inferior surface of the body of the sphenoid bone. The floor is about 5 cm long and the 1.5 cm wide. It is formed by palatine process of the maxilla and the horizontal plate of the palatine plate. It is concave from the side to side and is slightly higher anterior than posterior. Clinical anatomy. Common cold or the rhinitis is commonest infection of the nose. It may be infective or allergic or both. It commonly occurs during the change of the seasons. The paranasal air sinus may get infected from the nose. Maxillary sinusitis is the commonest of the such infection. The relationship of the nose to the anterior cranial fossa through the cerebriform plate and to lacrimal apparatus through the nasolacrimal duct are important in spread of the infection. Fracture of cerebriform plate of the ethmoid with tearing of the meninges may tear the olfactory nerve rotals. In such, CHF may drip from the nasal cavity. It is called CNF rhinorrhea, as seen in the figure which is known as CSF, cerebrospinal fluid rhinorrhea. Here are some other pictures. इस पिक्चर में अगर आप देखें तो स्केलेटन ऑफ द एक्सटर्नल नोज और एंटीरियर व्यू शो हो रहा है. रूट है, फिर नेजल बोन है, डॉर्सम है, देन सुपीरियर नेजल कार्टिलेज, टिप, इंफीरियर नेजल कार्टिलेज, एला ऑफ द नोज. एंटीरियर व्यू में यहाँ पर नेजल बोन, एलर कार्टिलेज, लेटर प्रोसेस ऑफ सेप्टल कार्टिलेज दिया हुआ है और यहाँ पर कोरोनल सेक्शन दिया हुआ है नेजल कैविटी और मैक्सिलरी एयर साइनस का। अपर टूथ पैलेटिन फॉर्मिंग फ्लोर ऑफ द नेजल कैविटी। मिडल कॉन का, सुपीरियर कॉन का और इंफीरियर कॉन का, वोमर, क्रिस्टा, गॉल, किलाई, ऑर्बिट, ये सारा कुछ यहाँ पर आ जाते हैं। ये हमने नोज़ और पैरानोजल साइनस का इंट्रो देख लिया है, बेसिकली इसकी बेसिक पार्ट्स और क्लिनिकल एनाटमी देख ली है। यहाँ तक अगर किसी को कोई भी इशू हो तो पूछ लें। अल्लाह हाफिज़।